Sold an asset to help fund some of the things in the city. Rather than spending just the interest, they spent the entire principal, and now the city, and now that asset's gone, and the
that asset's gone, and the money's gone. But even fixing those 65 streets, we're assessing roughly a third of the cost of all the road repair to the actual affected properties in the city. So eventually, all roads have to be replaced. You're supposed to maintain roads once every 10 years. If it's a full mill, and I mean, if you go down to the bedrock and you relay the concrete, the road will last 25 to 30 years. Right now, we're doing a mill and overlay in most places, which means that we just take the top layer off and then we re-asphalt, and that's only supposed to last 10 years. But every road is supposed to have some maintenance every 10 years. So you're supposed to touch every mile of the 1,212 miles of street in the city of Minneapolis. Don't ask me why I memorized that, but 1,212 miles of street in the city has to be dealt with at least once every 10 years, and we're now at a rate of maybe getting to them maybe once every 17 years, which means the roads are going to continue to deteriorate.
Now, aren't they going to say property taxes are going up because property values are going up, or at least have been up to this last year?
But property taxes have been going up while property values have been going down at least the last couple of years.
Sure.
I mean, during the credit crunch, you'd think that with the decline in property values that people would be paying less in taxes, and that's not necessarily the case. They're paying more in taxes because the city budget is figured on a dollar amount per parcel rather than what's the value of the parcel.
What are some other examples of reasons why we should consider Lisa Goodman, right? She's the current Ward 7 council person. Why replace you with her? I mean, you obviously know what you're talking about. You've got a lot to say, a lot of opinions to give. I don't know if you have to necessarily throw mud around, but are there just some examples
I think that
of why you think you're a better candidate than her?
Lisa is a Chicago-style Democrat.
Okay.
And she's good for her cronies, good for the developers she likes, good for the bar owners she likes. But if she doesn't like you, she takes it personally. It's not what government should be. Government should be representative of the people, not representative of top-down. I like you, I'm gonna give you a grant. I don't like you, you're not getting a liquor license.
So, and you would just state that that's how she kind of runs her
currently
her business, kind of about favors and less about I don't know what's right.
Well, as a council member, you should be completely unfazed. You got to be neutral. You got to deal with every developer, every application, as if it was the same. You're working for the people. You're not. They don't work for you.
Well, I mean, come on. Politics is a dirty game. It's a tough game. It's about who you know, right? I mean, isn't that what people say? I mean, where has this led the city astray?
Well,
her kind of politics.
Well, her kind of politics. Basically, she curries favor with certain groups and certain people, and it has taken us astray. I was looking at the consent agenda for the community development meeting that's coming up on the 7th, and she's putting stimulus money into a group called Fire Arts at 38th in Chicago, about $360,000. Now, originally they got their building on a city revolving loan. In other words, they were supposed to pay the loan off within a year for $510,000. Well, they weren't able to refinance the property. They're not creditworthy enough. So now we're going to give them $360,000 of Obama stimulus money, which is going to employ 3 people there, and they still have to get a regular loan for $150,000. Even after all that, they're going to have operating expenses in the neighborhood of $48,000 a year, which there's a very good chance they won't even be able to make that.
And what's the purpose of the building? What is it again?
They're going to be giving art classes
to
people who sign up for them at 38th in Chicago.
Sort of a community education service.
But even so, I mean, there's some people over in South Minneapolis that think this is a good thing, that arts are wonderful. But in order to get this done, they had to change the building from a C1 to a C2, which triggered the entire zoning change for the entire block and made it a redevelopment zone. And then we have to go into exactly what is the definition of blight, because when I walk down Chicago Avenue, I don't see blight at 38th in Chicago, But when I walk through Hawthorne, I have seen blight.
What's
So
blight have to do with it?
in order to be a redevelopment zone, you have to be classified as blight so that you can redevelop the entire block.
Oh,
And it
all right.
also opens up Affordable Housing Trust Fund money and Affordable Housing Initiative Fund money from the Hennepin County. So if you're a developer, you look for these redevelopment areas to try to figure out where you can get federal money and county money and city money and begin developing using somebody else's money. We increase our population during the day, Monday through Friday, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night,
Right.
to roughly, what, 1.5 million people.
Oh, really? I don't know.
So we're providing, so us 380,000 are supporting fire, police, ambulance service for this huge population that comes in every day to work in these offices and all the businesses in town.
Okay.
So-
I want to get back to the point about the top down versus the bottom up. So, basically, your style of running a city is well, maybe a little bit less about running it and a little bit more about managing. In that you are a leader, you are an elected representative, but you're there to sort of protect the city, to sort of create and evolve on its own, not by saying that would be a better area for apartments, and that would be a better area for some senior condos, and that would be a better area for a stadium, but rather let these things sprout up in a bit more of an organic, natural way.
All growth, for it to really be growth, has to be organic.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we built things. We built Mississippi Live, it died. We built the conservatory, and we built Gavaday Commons, and they've not been anything
Block E.
good. Block E is going to be completely vacant. So you're talking about things that we planned for, that we built based on plans, have failed.
System just it's so hard to know what the future holds. So hard to know what people are going to want to do, what sort of investments are going to be good, what aren't. And so this top-down planning mentality is just it just doesn't work. You're saying.
Well, the nice thing is that you can go to groups like the Downtown Council or the Warehouse District Business Association, the North Loop Business Association, the Loring Park Business Association. I mean, all these areas have people that you can talk to. The downtown Minneapolis Neighborhood Association.
There's a ton of them.
And all these various neighborhood associations are made up of volunteers from the neighborhood and merchants from the neighborhood.
Right.
And these are the people that really should be making policy for their neighborhoods rather than the council imposing
So if there is
policy on
any
them.
sort of planning element to the neighborhood, have it be done at the most local level as possible.
At the most local level, involving the most number of people as possible.
I think that's a good place to close. Thank you very much for being on the show, for taking the time for our audience to get a chance to meet you and get to know where you stand on the things. And look for Michael Katch in your neighborhood in Minneapolis, running for Ward 7.
Ward 7.
And I'll be on the ballot in November. So thank you very much, Michael, for being on today's show. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate your time today with us on Minneapolis Expression. Do shoot me an email. Let me know, what you think. All right, again, thank you very much for viewing, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.